Today's guest is someone with an incredible story and even a bigger heart. Greg Thomas was born in San Angelo, Texas, and made his mark early as a three-sport athlete and at the Central High School. And he went on to earn an athletic scholarship at the University of Arkansas, where he became the university's first black quarterback to hold that role, and ultimately the winningest quarterback in Razorback history. For nearly 3 decades, Greg Thomas has served as Plano ISD community, working in student, family, and community services, while also coaching basketball and sponsoring the bowling club at Plano East Senior High. In his spare time, he is an award-winning author. That's right, of two books we're going to share about today. No Doubting Thomas and hashtag Making Believers. Greg is also an avid fisherman and a reader and a podcast and a devoted family man and a blended family of 7 children and 10 grandchildren. Him and his wife Rebecca live in Salina, Texas. I'm so excited to welcome him back to the show. Last time he's on the show was September 7th, 2022, 4 years ago almost. Excited to catch up with him and hear his story. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chit Chat, the encouraging one, another podcast, Mr. Greg Thomas. Well, welcome back to Chit Chat, the encouraging one, another podcast. My good friend, Greg Thomas. Welcome back, sir. How you been?
Wonderful, Jody. Thank you. And I'm so glad to be here, especially on a Friday, end the day on a great note, chit-chatting with you.
For those tuning in for the first time, not knowing your story, we're going to touch your story a little bit, kind of your career in sports and the many hats you wear. An author is one of them. We'll discuss some of your books as well. Before we dive into that, though, I love throwing some icebreaker questions at my guests. No right or wrong answer, just off top of your head. So the first one is, what hobby would you love to to do if there was no time and money weren't an issue? But a new hobby you're gonna do, what would it be?
A new hobby. I love watching my wife quilt.
Oh,
So that may be something I won't take it up like she does, but I love watching her, watching the shows. Those are one of the things that we spend time doing, and she's beautiful at it. She does a wonderful job, and I'd be a grown man over here quilting. That's probably what it is.
my grandma she quilted all my kids' blankets and their kids, and she did the crocheting stuff. My mom did that. I tried that for a little while. I'm like, yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Second one is, what's your most random talent that folks might not know you have?
Random talent. Display patience. Probably people don't probably think I'm patient. I'm
All
very
right.
patient. I'm still directive, still uh, aggressive in a lot of ways, but I'm very patient as well.
And now backtrack for a second. How long you been married, by the way?
We're coming up on 3 years.
Okay.
Rebecca and I've been married 3 years. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Because the next one will kind of involve her a little bit. I'm giving you a 2-week paid vacation anywhere in the world you want to go, but you're taking her with you, and you're going to surprise her. She has no idea where you're going until you get there. What's place you're going to go that she's happy with going? A warm place?
Washington, D.C.
Okay. Why is that?
She's a 8th grade history teacher, and she loves history.
Oh, wow.
So we can just walk around the monuments and historical areas there in Washington.
That's one of my dream places to go. I thought I was going there when I got my orders in the Navy. I got a sea school, and he said, you're going to Bremerton, Washington. I thought Bremerton was outside D.C. Living in
Uh-huh.
Arkansas, I'd be close to home. Bremerton's outside Seattle. So that's
All the way on the West Coast.
never been to DC. I always want to
Yeah.
go and see the two unknown soldier, Arlington, places like that. But
Yes.
I want to go one day just to be there once.
Yes. We plan it, we discuss it, and then we get immersed in the summer of not moving, and then the grandkids, and then we don't do it. But that is a goal that she and I both go visit that, as well as come out to Washington, the Seattle area, and Vermont. Never
Let,
been to
well,
Vermont.
let me know when you're in Washington. We'll have coffee and we'll
Yes.
hear about the good old times.
Oh, yes. We'll have a great time.
Do you have a favorite word you use often? You know, sometimes too much. Is there a favorite word you love using?
Paramount.
What's that?
Paramount. It is
Paramount. Okay.
paramount the way we have it is. I tell the young men it is vitally important.
Okay. Okay.
So if I say it's vitally important, they don't hear that. When I say it's paramount, it is to the up level of getting something done.
Oh wow.
It takes a different tone with them.
Okay. Okay. Who was that person in your life who encouraged you? Now I'm gonna give you three levels in your life: as a teenager, a young adult, and an older adult. It's people in your life in different stages who encourage you. Do you have any people specifically who really encouraged you in sports and life in general? You want to share about those people?
Well, I was blessed. I've always had many great men in my life. So, like some people, they didn't have that opportunity. I've had great men in my life, great coaches, great mentors, uh, great church leaders. Um, so to pick one is difficult when you put me on the spot. Um,
You can
but
pick several. I'll be nice to you. You can pick a few guys off the top of your head who
well,
kind of helped you in times of trouble. You know, kept you out of trouble.
well, I dibble and dabble, and I got caught up in some stuff,
Mm,
just like some young people do. Um, but Coach Keeling was one of my early. I would hate to call him a hero, but he was a hero because I was searching at 14 and 15 years of age, and he came in with his coaching staff, and they reestablished um, some bonds there in Angelo, and he was one of my early um, mentors and leaders, and still is to this day. Um, Nolan Richardson was. And I met him when I was 11 or 12, and
mm,
then we reunited when he came to the University of Arkansas in 1985. Um, so that was someone that I needed at that time. I already had a great dad. I had a great football coach, but we were missing each other in our thought processes. And he came in and solidified a foundation for me then.
mm,
Um, in my earliest and one of my father's player was Ben Kelly, who opened up the Boys and Girls Club where I learned to play sports. Um, Knowing his history and seeing him every day, and I was 5 or 6, he would pick me up and take me to the Boys Club. I'm not supposed to start till I'm 7, but I'm there at 5 and 6 years of age when he opens up the Boys Club. So those are three of my early uh, mentors, heroes, men that really took me by storm. Now,
mm,
when you say females, shucks, man, my mom is a great. Uh, my grandmother and her livelihood and things she worked through and what she did here in Dallas was unbelievable.
mm. Yeah, it's amazing we have a core group of people who
Hmm.
help you through trials and tribulations, to being stupid,
Yeah. Yes.
and,
Yeah.
and man, you kick you in the butt. You know, let's rewind a little bit. When you start playing sports, when did you realize that it was something you were truly passionate at? At 5 or 6 years old, when you're going to the Y, or as a little older?
About 7 or 8.
Okay.
I figured as when I was 7 or 8, I just enjoyed the feeling of being out there. I enjoyed playing and competing and running around the neighborhood and playing other teams. Um, I didn't have the luxury like some guys do. They wait till a certain age to play. We began playing early, and then we couldn't form a team because we were too young. So they put us on the first available team that was close in age, and so we had success playing with those older guys. And then when I played with my own age group, it was it was easy. So once you learn to play against bigger, faster, stronger, and then you play guys that are still trying to develop, it's a different game. But I instantly knew that where I had deficiencies and fears and doubts and whatever it was, school, talking to people, standing up in the classroom. I didn't have that on the field, or on the diamond, or on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm. You know, sports teach us about discipline, teamwork, resiliency. What are some of the biggest lessons you learned when you carried that into your athletic career? You know, I'm sure respect, I'm sure teamwork, accountability, probably. What are some ones that really, really, you stuck out to you as you got older and maybe went to the University of Arkansas and you
Yeah.
set your foundation?
Work harder than the next person.
Mm, true.
Work harder than the next person, especially in a competition uh, scenario. You don't only have to work harder, you have to be better. You have to prove that you're better. So
Mhm.
then you have to be accountable. There are so many words that can describe the characteristics of being good. Some people are just good, don't have to work as hard. Other people have to work twice as hard and may not be as good, but
Mhm.
they can also be foundationally set. They can also be accountable and you use the word resilient. Well, everybody can be resilient till you can't be resilient. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like the rubber band. You can keep pulling it, you keep stretching. Eventually, that rubber band is going to lose that elasticity, and then it's going to start tearing, ripping, and falling apart.
Yeah.
So you would like people to be resilient, and you try to build resiliency, but resiliency comes from just repetition and confidence.
Mm.
And then when you get confident, then the sky's the limit. Then you can play free. Once you play free and you don't have the doubt, you don't have the fear, you don't have uh, those thought processes that you can't accomplish something, then the world opens up.
You were the first starting Black quarterback at the University of Arkansas. I'm sure you faced some tough challenges. You had to push through. Uh, what really got you through those hard points of I want to say resiliency?
Yeah.
You fought and you fought and you fought and you became the starting quarterback and I'm sure there's struggles along the way, but you pursued. I watched you play a little bit in college ball. I love watching you on the field. You were just like
Yeah.
a gladiator out there. It was fun watching, man.
Well, I appreciate that. And let me be honest with you. I was the first in my high school in San Angelo. So the groundwork had already been set. Now
Okay.
you're just still playing the game. The game doesn't change.
Hmm.
It's the thought process of the people around the game as well as those that aren't in the game. But the game is still the same. So there are some myths, there are some stereotypes, there are some things that they're just out there. But the game is still the game. I never had a problem with the game. If there was some areas that I wasn't as good as other people, I worked at it. I put in that time, I figured it out, and still played the game. But it's the thought process of other people. And those are the ones you have to let go of. Those are the emotions and the thought process you have to battle through. And you hear everything. People that say they don't hear stuff, they're lying to you. You hear
Yeah.
it all. It's how do you adjust and how do you cope? How do you work through some of those situations? It was no different at Arkansas. The game is still the game. I just got to learn my coach. My coach has to learn me. Then we got to learn how to work together.
Hmm.
And if you're not on the same page, then there's going to be issues.
Yeah.
And sometimes we weren't on the same page. And it wasn't that the game was different because I could still read a defense. I could still throw the ball. I could still change plays and things of that nature. Right?
Hmm.
That's not what the situation was. Does this person have the same confidence in you in this situation? Do you feel comfortable running this play? Those are the things you got to deal with.
Right.
And like I said, but the game with the one-on-one, the individual on the team, that never changes.
Mm. Um, what are some of what offense did you guys run? Do you want wristbone? Was that one of the offenses you ran, or what kind
It,
of
it was
offense?
Yeah, it was called a wishbone, but Hatfield's version was the flex bone, so we can be able to throw the ball out of it, which we could once we figured out that we can put 4 receivers in a pass route instead of having 2.
Right.
So we don't think about it how it really was. If you have 5 offensive linemen, a tight end, and a wide out, and you run into the short field, your area of throwing the ball is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to change your alignment and your stance and things of that nature. Well, it changes the area, it changes the angles, it changes all of that with big, fast,
Yeah.
strong, quick, athletic people. Once we figure it out.
I love watching the wishbone in college. It is so
Yeah,
fun to watch. There's so many intricacies,
yeah.
routes. You got to be quick getting the ball off to one person or the next person or running it. I was a big fan of that offense. I know they don't run in the NFL, but college is fun. It was fun to watch back in the days. It really was.
Still fun. I watched the game today. Limbo Parks, one of my teammates, one of my best friends, sent me a video today. I never seen it. Been 43 years. I've never seen that game from another team's recording. I
Mm.
thought it was interesting. Listen to the commentators, and then watching the game, and then you sit back and go like, "Well, dang, that was me." You
Uh,
sit back. I do. I sit back sometimes and go like, "Really, I was out there," because you get. I try not to be big headed or think too highly of myself. Try to be on an even keel.
yeah.
Try to teach us our players to be on the even keel. Never get too high. Never get too low. But sometimes you get in awe, and today I sat there going like, dang, I never seen this game. Oh, that's us. It's pretty fun though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a cool thing.
A few years ago, you started being an author and you wrote some books. What inspired you to put pen to paper and write?
I had teammates that inspired me to do it. They encouraged me. They talked about it for, like I said, 30 years. Several teammates, when we first got to the University of Arkansas, said, "Hey man, you need to write this stuff down." I'm going like, "What?" Because I wasn't aware of the scenario there in Arkansas. It
Mm-hmm.
never came up. Once again, I was playing that position in high school, so I'm not thinking that a university hasn't had it. You
Right.
understand? I'm
Yeah.
not thinking like that. I'm just saying, okay, I'm here, learn what you have to learn, and then get on the field and play.
Mm-hmm.
Be a sponge as much as you can. I did not. I didn't know the history. Did not know the history. Teammates told me the history.
Mm,
I had teammates telling me that they're going to move you. They're never going to play you. They never played anyone at that position. Guys that grew up in the state. So, once you work through those things, outwork them, make more plays, know what you're supposed to do, make adjustments, etc. Then you get the opportunity. I got the opportunity, and once I got the opportunity, then everything else worked itself out.
mm-hmm. Share about your books you have. Yeah, I have one that you sent to me last time we spoke a few years ago. Share about that one and your newest book as well.
Okay, the first book was No Doubting Thomas, chronicling my 4 years at the University of Arkansas, and we talk about the highs and the lows, the teammates, uh, the bonds that we made, the coaching staff, mentors that I had in terms of. I was around Frank Broyles, Norman DeBryan, Nolan Richardson, Ken Hatfield as head coaches. Oh, I forgot Coach Sutton in basketball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, on our campus, right? It's amazing. Oh, I also forgot we were winning. Coach McDonald with track. I ran out there for a
That's right.
national ranked programs. And honestly, I took a lot of that for granted. I
Mm,
didn't appreciate it because I was immersed in trying to do what almost every player that wants to do when they go to school is be on a good team, help a team turn around. So
mm-hmm.
that's what the book is about: the mentor, the teammates, the friendships. Um, it took 14 months to put it on paper, but it was 40 years in the making,
Oh
if you
wow,
can imagine.
that's
Um,
crazy.
And so, I teamed up with Leland Barkley, and Leland Barkley is a Hall of Fame writer. a sports writer in Arkansas, and we teamed up, and we came up with a framework. We discussed um, how we could present this in a way where it can not only be readable, but high school kids could read it, and it could be put in libraries and
Mhm.
things of that nature. Uh, and the book did okay. It won 5 different awards. It was up for a couple sports book of the year, and it gave me a little insight. And it was, in retrospect, it was therapeutic.
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Um, there are things I could have put in the book, should have put in the book, but those weren't my stories to tell. So I didn't tell those. I just gave the version through an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid just wanting to play football and trying to make his team, his adopted state, the best they could be. And that's what, No Doubting Thomas was. That's
Mm.
why I call it Hog Whisper. That's me, that's me
Love
putting my thought process out there and just sharing those thoughts and those emotions.
it. I showed you earlier, but yeah, I'm wearing my hog shirt.
I see
My
that.
mom and dad got me to me. I'm born and raised in Arkansas. I left when I was 18. I've been in Washington State ever since. So we mentioned out some of these coaches. Hatfield. I had Hatfield on the podcast a few years ago as well.
Yeah,
Great fun talking with
yes,
him. And I know Coach Richardson's health's rough right now, so I'm praying for him and his family. And I remember Coach Sutton. I was watching Razorback basketball all the time, so I was a big Razorback fan growing up. Every Saturday in front of the TV.
right.
When the Hogs were on basketball, it was on what channel I could find into the basketball. So yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
big fan of Razorback sports. I love going to the Royal Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, watching
yes.
the Hogs there. I'd never been to Fayetteville, but having Little Rock close by I was always thankful for that. But yeah, I'm a big fan, and yeah, so it was when you mentioned some of those coaches, I'm like, oh man, I remember those memories of watching the sports and as a youngster, watching the
Yeah.
Hawks. My barber's son actually played for the Razorbacks. I can't remember his son's name, but every Saturday we get a haircut. He would talk about the Hogs, so it was in my brain for years for the Razorbacks.
And I'm the total opposite. I'm born and raised in Texas. I could care less about the Arkansas experience. We had 9 schools in the state of Texas.
Mm,
And then you had Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Colorado, Colorado State,
yep.
things of that nature. So I had no desire, in my formidable years about the Razorbacks. I was watched the game here in Dallas over Christmas break when my mom would bring us here. I go to the Cowboy Stadium and watch the game. But I wasn't rooting for Arkansas. I was rooting for SMU. So uh, but it was a beautiful thing. It's still a beautiful thing. It's nothing like being a Hog. I was truly blessed. The experience was difficult at times. It was
So
difficult at
what
times.
really drew you to the Razorbacks then? If you're gonna, all Texas, what really drew you in the U of A? Was our coach kind of just really picky? Like, come on, Greg, you can do this. You can join us. Well, and what really helped you go to Arkansas?
It was a change of coaching staff.
Okay.
Hatfield was coming from Air Force. Coach Holtz, who I talked to a couple of times, had said he'd be at Arkansas forever, and then 3 weeks later he was gone.
Mm.
So my head coach um, reached out to Coach Hatfield after the signing period, and Hatfield said he'll allow me to play quarterback.
Oh wow, that's
So if I'm
awesome.
going to play quarterback, yeah, I'm gonna take that over playing DB or point guard, whatever else I had going on.
And it's amazing how college ball is today with the NIL. When
Yes,
Coach Hadfield and I were talking about this, he goes, "I don't know how people even do it these days with the NIL and with college and money everywhere. I mean, it's insane."
it was the same thing. It was just illegal. So the money and stuff was still the same. Everyone was still doing the same thing in those days. Now it's legal today. I'm just being honest with you. It
Uh,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was still going on back in those days.
And some teams got busted for it. Like SMU had that ban.
Everybody in Southwest Conference. That's why there's no Southwest Conference anymore.
Yeah,
Every team was involved with it.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, And what's your other book too? Yeah, that's your other work has. I think you won 10 awards with your newest book, correct?
It's 11 now,
Son,
and it was so many good things are happening right now. Not only with the new book, the title is hashtag Making Believers,
mm-hmm.
um, and that is over. You can look over the top of my show. You see us at the state tournament. Uh, see the little basketball there, the state championship ring. In 2023 and 24, our basketball team was, I almost said fortunate. We weren't fortunate. They were pretty dang good. Um, and they worked their butts off and they earned the right. And we were 40-0, won a state championship here in the state of Texas.
Wow.
Um, and it was the first time in 20 years anyone at the highest level had won a state championship. But we won it pretty convincingly. We had like 30 games where we beat everyone by double digits.
Mm.
So it was a great job with some great young men that eventually learned to trust in each other enough that total sacrifice was the key. And you know, we have 14 different guys. And I think 13 guys led us at some point in time in scoring.
Wow.
So it was a great environment. Probably the best sporting environment I've ever been in as a player or a coach. Um, and love those guys. I had 5 of them text me today. So we're gonna come can we come shoot in the gym today? Want to come hang out? And it was just a joy to be around. 3 great years with those guys, and I think 2 or 3 of them I have a chance to play at the next level. Things go their way.
Nice. Was there a point that season where maybe 20-0, 25-0, where you'd be like, "Whoa, we have something here"? And was there a
Mm.
time of you might have won a close game that you or your halftime was close, and you had to really dig in together and
Mm.
pass the ball and take your
We
time?
we had 2. Come on, Joe. Hold on. I'm telling you, we're 40-0. We played 31 of the 40 games on the road.
Wow.
Okay, we went no, cause the team was built for the championship. All right, no outside pressure, no outside students coming in. These guys that grew up within 5 miles of each other. So
Wow.
you talking about having a real team atmosphere. And when I say we had 25 games where we beat people by double digits. I'm not talking about 11 or 12. I'm talking about 20, 25 points. All right. We went to Arkansas, won the Fayetteville tournament, beat 3 of the top teams in Arkansas, went to Oklahoma, beat 2 of the top teams in in Oklahoma, um, and then beat the number 1 team and then the number 2 team at the time for the state championship. Played 17 state ranked teams and beat them all by double digits. So it was a dominating um, accomplishment by those young men.
Mhm.
We had 2 close games. One game was 3 points. They had a chance to tie it up. And to answer your question, that was game 22 or 23. Uh, and it was against a rival in Louisville, and they didn't tie it up. That's the closest game we had.
Wow.
Everything else was double digits. Um, and then every playoff game was 30, 27, 19, and to the state championship, and we won that by 13.
Wow. That's crazy. It's
Yes,
awesome you have
yes.
a crew of guys in your locale that all just kind of work together, and just I love the analogy in the Bible, iron sharpens iron.
And we
You know,
discussed that. Yeah.
oh, that's
Total competition. Everything they did was competitive. Every drill competitive, every shooting skill was competitive, and it was just built on who's going to be the best today. Can I
mm,
be better today? After game 22, it was like, let's look at the schedule. We looked at the schedule and it was like, we don't really see us losing a game for the next 9 games in district. So now the mentality went to, how can we be the best team and the best teammate Friday night and just go one game at a time?
uh,
And it was one game at a time. Okay, what's the record here? Can we hold them to this point? Can we do this? It was always something that made it competitive that they could push themselves. Um, every day of practice, we change jerseys. You never had the same five playing together. So there's total competition every day. And then when we get in the game, your job is to do what the other person wasn't doing, or you go relieve him. And then let's just, this three come in. Now we need to raise the intensity. You need to be faster, stronger, whatever the case may be.
Right,
And
right.
they bought in. And they bought in. Uh, and you know, it won't be broken in the state of Texas. It can only be tied. Right?
That's
40-0 will never be broken.
that is
Yeah.
insane. Let's go back a little bit. What got you from football to basketball coaching? What got you into coaching young men and really kind of building up, helping guys be responsible and accountable and stuff like that, kind of carry over from football?
Well, it's the same principle, but I was pretty decent at basketball in high school. Also, I had basketball opportunities, but I didn't follow the basketball because how many people can be? I had the opportunity to play quarterback in college.
Yeah.
125. You know what I'm saying? So if I could be one of the 125, which I was one of the 125, I was one of the 1 in 12 that were black playing at that time. That's a crazy number, but that was the goal.
Yeah, yeah.
So the same principles apply in basketball, football, and baseball. Um, it happened that when I took the job with the school district, um, that position opened up, and the basketball coach came to me and said, "I need you to be my assistant. Are you willing?" And I said, "Man, I got 3 kids at home. Heck yeah, I'm willing. Heck yeah, I'm willing." So it was a great, I don't want to say diversion, but it was a great opportunity to give back, to learn, and an escape. Because I went to the district at a time that we were in a peril in Plano. We were dealing with heroin and cocaine, and young people were dying, going to jail, et cetera. And I was coming from a treatment facility background. So they hired me to come in and, I won't say smooth it over, but try to learn, teach, uh, be instrumental in trying to share thought processes, as well as help those that are involved and get the necessary help needed.
So how long you been teaching?
29 years and looking for one more.
You got a specific subject you teach or a
well,
variety of?
well, now I'm at the alternative school. So I've gone from being on the Plano East campus, where I was for 23 years. In the last 4 years, I've been off campus at a central area, or like where I am now at the alternative school. So right now the thought process is that I'm needed more at the alternative center. Uh, and then I'll work with those young people still making not healthy, not smart decisions.
Right, right. My mom was a teacher's aide for 20 or so years.
Yeah.
Might get that wrong, mom. Sorry. She does watch occasionally. And so, and my dad was a volunteer firefighter and worked
Mm.
for Southwestern Bell. So I couldn't get in trouble in school or out of school. My dad would find out, mom would find out.
Yes. Yeah, I understand that. I didn't mind getting in trouble. It didn't bother me.
But
So I just dealt with it.
so many great teachers I had along the way. I'm sure a majority of them have probably passed, but man, I had some great teachers and coaches. Just kind of always an encourager. So man, I appreciate all you do and
Thank you,
encourage
sir.
kids, helping kids. And so yeah, thanks for all you do for that. What were some of the meaningful reactions you received from your books along the way, maybe to encourage people? Especially Downton Thomas, people might have gone. I'm going through some hard times. This book really helped me to push through some barriers I was facing. Have you received some stuff like that along the way?
Yes, and you used the word earlier, resiliency. My faith is was strong. I know people prayed for me,
Yes,
prayed
sir.
over me, uh, and I don't talk about it a lot because it's you have to be in a special place to deal with it. but not being able or not being seen is kind of crazy. And then when you're seen for the crazy stuff, the letters that I received, the threats that I received,
Mm.
just because I wanted to play ball, you got to find some balance, and you have to find somewhere to go. So I know people prayed for me. I prayed, and then I confronted and I acted out with it and acted to it, and I'm blessed to be here. But some of that stuff, is hard. And when people read it, they can say, "Oh, he really had to deal with that." That's one of the things I want people to know, that it wasn't always easy. Playing ball has its challenges, you know, and then playing life has other challenges. And sometimes you get discouraged, and you gotta fight through some of these things. Not everything is gonna be, cookies and creams and peachy all the time. And cause mama say you look good don't mean everybody think you look good. You got to deal with some of that stuff.
Yep.
And the no doubting Thomas, I dealt with stuff. I shared some of that, and people, even teammates, said, "Man, I didn't know you were going through that."
Oh, wow.
Well, because some of my teammates were dealing with their own stuff,
Yep.
you know, and that's college, man. I mean, that's just life. I mean, one of my high school classmates wrote a book. I finished reading his book the other day, um, and some of the things he talked about in his book, I wasn't aware of. But I saw this young man every day. So sometimes we got to take a step back and see life for life, and see people and be encouraging to people and speak up and give them what you're looking for.
You're right.
Just some validation, some love, some acknowledgement.
I truly believe everyone has a story,
Yes.
no matter where you're at in life. And eventually those stories connect. I've been in some small groups at church where I'm sitting in a room of 20 guys, and you can put a string across me to the guy in front of me. He's probably 20 years younger, going through things I did when I was 20 years younger, and vice versa. It's
Yes.
amazing how all these stories kind of combine, or we learn from each other, our mistakes, or things we've gone through. As we try and mentor young kids,
Yeah.
kids and grandkids now, and just trying to be a good example. Pray for them, just be there when they fall, and help them
Yeah.
pick them up, dust them off.
Yeah. And sometimes a kind word goes a long way.
Yes, sir. Well,
Standing at the door
yeah,
and
one
just
word
greeting
is so
people. Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. Just greet people when they come at you kindly.
Yep.
There are so many things that we can do that could shift the tide. But we also live in a world where you can say what you want to, and people don't think there's a consequence.
Hmm.
We can just do what we want to, and we shouldn't be held accountable by certain people's standards. And unfortunately, that's not the real world either, because there are other people that got emotions and feelings too.
Yep.
And when they get back at you, then you can't be upset. But guess what? We upset, and now someone hurt my feelings. Although you've been standing here cussing, yelling, screaming at somebody else, pointing fingers, we just live in a different world.
Hmm.
And sometimes, you know, we need to take that step back and say, what's he going through? What's she going through? Let's look at their perspective.
How can people get a hold of your book and order a book and
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That's the coolest thing. Um, both books, No Doubting Thomas, Hawk Whisperer, My Arkansas Memoir, and hashtag Making Believers, are sold anywhere you get your reading pleasures. So it's going to be at Amazon. It's going to be at Ingram Spark, because that's worldwide. It can be Walmart has it now. I'm trying to get it on the floor of Walmart, both books, and that's pretty close to happening now. Or you can, contact me at gregthomasconnect.com, where you get an autographed copy. I'm gonna have to reorder some books now, but they're out there. I mean, my wife found a site like secondhand books that was overseas, and people were buying the book overseas. So it's kind of crazy. It's
so
it's a
cool.
phenomenal it's unbelievable. And currently, I'm looking to get an agent, um, and that's showing some good positive signs as of today. That I'm gonna write a couple more books. Um, they're not a series, but they're going to be somewhat like or unlike what I've done in the past.
Okay.
But it gives me, I think I'm gonna dabble with fiction this time instead of nonfiction.
Okay.
You
All
see what I'm
right.
saying? It won't
Yeah.
be. I may be able to create some characters, so I'm trying to evolve here instead of just writing from stories and personal observation. Maybe I can create some characters, some
Right.
scenarios
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, that has teachable, lovable, uh, meaningful, situations that can come to a positive conclusion.
My last show just came out this week on May 6th. Just came out with my author named Aaron Ryan. Aaron
Uh-huh.
Ryan is a Christian worship leader. He wears many hats too, a voiceover guy, but he's he's been an author over 50 books of Christian themed books. So I love to
50
connect.
books.
Great guy.
50. You said 50 books?
50 books he's
Wow.
written over the years, and he had a Christian series, a Christian sci-fi series.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. I love. I just he was throwing off all kinds of things he's done. I'll pass on his name. You can reach out for any author questions, you book questions. But great
Yes,
guy.
please do. I'm meeting so many different people, um, just in the book area. I saw something yesterday and I posted it, uh, talking about how many of us as Americans are illiterate
Mm,
or that we're reading at a fifth grade level. And I'm thinking, number one, why? Number two, how? How in America that we have so many people that cannot read or cannot comprehend. So when I'm writing, I'm putting stuff down that is simple, but they're encouraging, and hopefully it can ignite uh, thought process, open up doors, uh, give insight, and then hope.
have you ever considered? Will you ever consider maybe if someone says, "I want to make your books into a movie"? What would that be like?
It's I've been approached not only with the book 4 years ago, No Doubting Thomas, but I've already been approached, I would say 5 or 6 times already with hashtag Making Believers.
Wow.
And it was released in October. So it was released in October or launched in October. It has 11 um, awards right now. It may, or it has a capability of 3 or 4 more that I've entered. And so, like I said, I'm looking for an agent that can push me or guide me or relieve me in this other area because I'm not knowledgeable of film, how they make it, contracts. So I'm trying to learn, but I also want someone that could come take that over. The
Mm,
speaking engagements and things I've already began assembling a schedule for that. But I need someone that understands the contract, understands selling the books, by which I relaunched No Doubting Thomas last month. But you got to wait 60, 90 days before you see any royalties with it.
right.
But I had to learn that you can relaunch it. I'm going, why would I want to relaunch it? Then you can put it out there again. Well, people are reading hashtag Making Believers, and they're coming up with the No Doubting Thomas. How can we get this made? I'm going like, look, I need someone that can take this over and help me to help myself until I'm more knowledgeable of that business. But both have a possibility of being made into a adaptation or a film or a movie.
Mm.
Um, it's been I've been contacted and I said no to the first one, to some real big book people because I didn't like the direction they were trying to take it. You know,
Um, I'm gonna go back 1 second. When you got your very first award for No Down Thomas, and you had to take a step back, going, "I just got an award for this."
Yes.
What was that like for you? That initial shock, that I won an award for it, something I went through.
Ah,
What's that like?
it's like dunking a basketball or hitting a home run. I mean, that kind of
Recognition.
recognition is a nice word. Validation is
Okay.
better than recognition. That you put something on a piece of paper and people, a certain panel, a certain group, or somebody appreciated it, liked it, and thought we can put something to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a shock, but then, okay, wow, let me enter this one. And then nothing. And let me be honest with you. The competitive spirit thinks it should be, but was it? I don't know, because so many other people can write and phrase and tell a story in a different way
Mm-hmm.
that they could bring it to life. So I'm learning on this first book, but it's still my story. So it was pretty good to see it. American writers, they recognized the first one as a finalist and then put it into their sports book of the year competition. I didn't win, but it was still recognized or acknowledged. So I'm excited. This last book, it is. I expect it to win now.
Mm.
And when it doesn't, when it's not a finalist or it doesn't win or it's not honorable mention, I want to see the other books that did and see what they did. Then I'll read their books and see what they were doing, because that's the competitive spirit that I have. Um, the good and the bad. The bad is you're thinking too much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the good is that you've done something and people appreciate it.
Right.
Um, like today, and today I received a 5-star from the Reader's Favorite. That's another big time book contest that I entered. So they did a review and they got a 5-star. Man, I was excited. I'm going like, oh, well, 5-star. Does this mean it has a chance to win the next one? Or, instead of just saying, hey, take a step back and, appreciate it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about something else. And that's the competitive nature. I have to work through that. And I have to, you know, appreciate, because so many people write great books and they never get recognized for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or they don't sell many copies. So I don't want to think that I'm being, overly competitive, but I am competitive.
Mm-hmm. To yourself.
But I have to. That's the motivation that I have. But like I said, it's 111. It has a good possibility of winning 14 awards. How many people can get 14 awards for something and it
Yeah.
not turn into something a little bit bigger?
That's
And
crazy.
so, you pray for good things, you pray for little things, you pray that you use it correctly.
Yep. Yep.
And those are the things that I pray. I would love for it to be a bestseller. And it may be a bestseller. It may not be a bestseller in my time frame, but it may become a bestseller. You want the awards, you want the recognition, but you want it to be truthful and honest. And those are the things that I'm most proud about. But there are so many more people out here that write wonderful articles and books and never get seen. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
appreciative and I'm blessed in that area. And then I'm gonna do something good with what the good that comes out of it.
I do the best I can to help promote your books.
Thank
And
you, sir.
shoot me a message or something. I love to carry it on. I have a lot of I don't say followers, people who follow me and check out my content of encouragement, positivity. I love to get it out there for you as well. I'm the same way with my podcast. My
Yes,
podcast
sir.
is perfect. It's not. I have issues. I talk too fast. I'm from Arkansas. Duh. And
Yeah.
so, but you know what? I think my podcast rises above the rest because my heart is 100% into this. I love
Yeah.
people hearing their story, what they've been through, what they've gone through, and sharing it with the world. I think that's so cool. We have opportunity to do this now. Video. The last time we spoke, it was over the phone. So now I can
Yes.
see your face. I can see. It's nice seeing the faces where you do this. So that's kind of why I do it. And I've been nominated a few times for an awards too.
Yes, sir.
Not one, but I'm like, I've been nominated. That's freaking cool.
Yes, sir. That is unbelievable. And I follow you all the time. And I try to make sure that I comment on it, because when you have like people and you like and appreciate what they do, you want to make sure you acknowledge them. And you've been unbelievably supportive of me, and we had some familiarity. We both the Razorbacks, and you know there's some comfortability there also. But you're doing a wonderful job, and let me be the first to tell you, I appreciate what you're doing out there. Chit Chat is phenomenal, and people need to tune into it.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. And it's always fun talking with you. I love seeing
Yes,
your
sir.
background. I love your heart for people. I love that you just you try and help young men of all ages, and just be your dad, a grandpa like I am. We're kind of in the
Yes,
same
sir.
of life, and just try and make the world a better place, man. So thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. I hope we can stay in touch for future books, and just I can help any way I can.
Always, always. GregThomasConnect.com. Check it out. It's being optimized right now. So it's about to do all this technical technology. I don't understand all that stuff, but it's being optimized now, and it should be faster so people can see and get what they need. But like I said, I appreciate you, Jody. Thank you, sir. Keep doing what you're doing. God is good, and 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 God bless you and what you're doing, and people should tune in. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much.